on the car, headed to California Friday night. It's leg one, headed to California, and then spending a couple days with my family, and then heading off to France. What'd you do? From Zurich, it was just a quick train ride up to Strasbourg. In Strasbourg, I would be staying with Will, the secretary of the Hexatrek Association. He had reached out on Instagram to invite me to stay for a night before I headed out to start the trail. This was actually super helpful because finding accommodation in Wissembourg was not super easy. Plus, it gave me the opportunity to meet him and pick his brain about everything Hexatrek. Just arrived in Strasbourg. I'm gonna stay with a couple of Hexatrekkers and then head to Wissembourg tomorrow. A new Hexatrekker from France, also named Will, was also staying at Will's place, and we were starting the Hexatrek on the same day. My host, Will, gave me a tour of Strasbourg and introduced me to the wonders of Parc Flambé. I'm sure I'm saying that terribly. Strasbourg is a beautiful city and was much nicer than I anticipated. Although I had no real expectations, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, it's the tannery. The old tannery. 1572. Wine.
Okay.
All bits of land. And
Yeah.
so over the years, the hospital actually became a major landowner. A really good section because I'm proud of the Vosges and it's a beautiful mountain range.
If you're looking into doing the Hexatrek and you're coming from abroad, just know that Strasbourg has everything you need to get your resupply set up. There was fuel at the camping store, as well as any extra gear and pieces you might need. It was a little bit overwhelming to try and sort out my first couple days of food in the grocery store, but it was also fun to see how many different options there were and what kind of ways I could adjust my backpacking food routine to fit with France. And in no time, it was time to start the Hexatrek. Will and I took the 7:40 a.m. train straight to Wissembourg. It's about 1.5 kilometers from the train station up to the terminus, so we walked through town up to the German border to start our hike. Currently in Wissembourg. And there it is, the little letterbox that shows us where this trail starts. It's always exciting to see the first stream of hikers writing their names in the notebook, see who's ahead of you. Plus, doing a trail like this one, being one of the first cohorts of people to go through, is quite cool. It's part of the reason I really wanted to try this trail in the first place. And there I am, long way, starting another long trail.
Kilometer 1.
It's hard to imagine that these are the first steps of a 3,000 kilometer journey that's going to take about 4 months. As a Canadian, this is definitely one of the most unique starts to a trail I've ever encountered. I got to tour a cathedral and very quickly had a delicious coffee stop before officially making our way out into the woods.
Oh.
We follow the GR53 for a good portion of the first section of the trail. It's a beautiful and well-maintained trail.
We're a kilometer or 2 into the first stage of the Hexatrek. We walked through the tiny town of Wissembourg, and now we're sort of in the orchards and vineyards before we get out of town properly.
So, do we have...
Just I almost forgot how much I like this. It's so nice.
A little pro tip for the Hexatrekkers: if you are in dire need of water and you find a graveyard or a cemetery, there's usually, almost always, water there for you. After 10 kilometers of hiking, it was hard to pass up our first restaurant. Of course, I have to try the French food and experience the French culture, right? But I was surprised to find out that this was a 3-course meal, and after the first plate, they brought out this full second meal. So it was a bit too much to eat, but delicious. We passed through loads of 13th century ruins on our way. a lot of cool structures built into these beautiful tall red rocks.
Fly.
He want to hit you.
Hello, sir.
Thus far, most of the trail has been shaded by beautiful green trees. Thankfully, because it's been between 25 and 30 degrees and sunny every single day.
Yeah.
On our first night, we set up camp about 25 kilometers in, next to this 13th century castle.
Nice here.
Just doing it Friday in my journal before going to bed. It's like 9:30. It's the first official overnight morning on trail. Will's behind me. Camped by a castle last night, and that was pretty sick. Actually, really cool. Camped right beside a castle. Yeah, it's another beautiful day. There's a little tiny village in like 6 kilometers. Hopefully, gonna just like snag a coffee and a bathroom break there, which would be great. And then carry on for another like 20 for the rest of the day. We'll see.
Will told me that his favorite flower is the poppy because you can't pick it. You can't put it in a jar because it will die. It's kind of like life on the trail. When you only carry a backpack, you really can't take anything extra with you. You just have to pay attention and take your memories. I think that's kind of beautiful.
Made it to yet another castle. There's basically a castle like every 2 kilometers out here. It's so funny. We had to camp at one last night, and then I think we passed another like 3 of them before camp tonight. So it's quite cool. You can see a bunch of them out across from this viewpoint. I'll show you. So there's a castle there, and then something else over here. Probably something else over here, but one down there, and then there's one up in there. so far. It's very cool to see France like this. I mean, it's this cool mix of like German and French and all this sort of medieval history. You can't see what that is. Sort of a tower built into the rocks. It's very cool. I'm really enjoying getting to explore like this and seeing all of these castles and tiny villages and meeting really lovely people and being able to stop and have a coffee every 15 kilometers or something. So far it's beautiful and the trail is great.
We were overtaken by a new Hexatrekker, goes by Atlantis. He's also hiked the PCT and some other trails as far as I've heard. But he's a lot faster than we are and hiking a lot more miles, so we let him go ahead. After the hottest afternoon yet and about 30 kilometers, I was ready for an ice-cold Coca-Cola and a little bit of ice cream.
Sitting in a park with my backpack. It's so hot today. And I have 3 more kilometers left to hike up to a bivouac spot. And then I'm done. I've hiked 26 kilometers already, so 3 more. I'm sleepy, but it's pretty out here.
Just to keep the trend going, we camped at yet another castle and ran into 2 other Hexatrekkers, one from the Netherlands and the other from Switzerland.
A nice end to day 2. I camped at another castle, beautiful, at kilometer 51, which is great, so we're making good time. And we ran into 2 other Hexatrekkers, which is also fun. So there's the 4 of us all camped together now, which is really fun. Yeah, I'm very tired today. We ended up hiking like 29 kilometers with the little like detours that we did. And, yeah, my feet are tired. But I think tomorrow should be a good day of easing into things. Got about 15 kilometers until a lunch break at maybe a cafe if it's open. So, yeah, basically just set up in my tent and, yeah, that's it. So, I don't know, catch you next time.